Once that's
Sorry,
done.
guys, bear with me here. I'm trying to get this to go to YouTube Live.
Mine says recording live on YouTube.
Okay, I got you now. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, Jeff. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Hi. I just had a little trouble with the audio, so I can hear you now.
Okay, very good. Perfect. We're trying to get it to be YouTube Live because we are in a public meeting.
Okay, so it was advertised then, right? I was asked
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yes. A YouTube Live.
Mine says recording live on YouTube.
Okay, I got you now. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, Jeff. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Yeah, you can go
Hi.
back to there.
I just had a little trouble with audio, so I can
So
hear you.
now it's recording.
Okay, very good. Perfect. We're trying to get it to be YouTube Live because we are in a public meeting.
Okay, so it was advertised then, right? I was asked
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Yes.
Yep,
A YouTube.
So you're good.
Okay, I think we're good now. I think it's done talking on its own. Oh crap.
Well, maybe not.
Maybe not. Let's try this. Okay.
All right, we are coming out of recess to the April 17th meeting. Well, now at 2,
Live.
at 2.
Mine says recording live on YouTube.
Can we close that? Okay. All right. I don't know if you guys heard Marcia or not, but Marcia said that we were coming out of recess to hold the meeting now. Are you guys able to hear Marcia when she talks at all?
I could hear Marcia.
Okay. Dave, could you hear Marcia?
Ever go ahead and say something so we can do a sound check?
Hi, Dave. How are you?
I can hear you. We're good.
Okay,
It's much clearer now.
perfect. Thank you.
So we should start with the
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the
to the
flag of
flag
the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
with liberty, justice for all.
purpose of today's meeting is to discuss changes that have come about. I'm assuming since the meeting, the state election we had this morning, plus what came out of the KVI, and the paper stuff that we have in front of us that you guys all receive by email, I'm assuming.
Most of it. The only thing, these are new today. I will be emailing this to both county chairs and Shelby as well. It is the orders from the election commission made at noon today. It's basically, they ratified what I sent to you from the Secretary of State yesterday. I don't know if the county chairs had a chance to look over the letter from the Secretary of State. Have you guys had a chance to look at that?
Was that the election dispatch?
It was with the election dispatch. It was the email to me from our Secretary of State.
This, I got it.
Okay. What I will be emailing you is the order number 2020-40 from the Indiana Election Commission. It basically just ratifies what was in the secretary's letter yesterday. To summarize, I guess, the biggest thing is that all public buildings, fire stations, school buildings, any public building will be made available for a polling place on June 2nd. So we will not have any issues with that. The governor and the Secretary of State and the Election Commission has granted use of all public buildings. The Secretary of State and the Election Division will be supplying us training materials. on how to handle in-person voting. That goes with the health officer to keep everything above par and that everybody stays healthy. When that's going to be, hopefully pretty soon. I know she applied for a grant, so we all get masks and gowns and sanitizer and yeah, I'm not sure how that's all going to work yet, but it's in their plan. So, and the biggest thing is early voting. We will not be early voting 28 days prior to Election Day this year. It'll only be 1 week. We will be voting from the Tuesday after Memorial Day to June 1st. It is my understanding we will not be voting on Sunday. I have not actually heard that we are or aren't yet, but I am assuming we're not. As soon as I get verification of that, which many of us clerks have sent in to ask for verification for that, I will pass the word along. But I'm going with Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday.
All day Monday?
No, only till noon on
That's
Monday.
okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yes, only till noon on Monday. And your workers, for you, both you county chairs, the election workers do not have to be residents of our county now. As long as they are a registered voter of Indiana, they can work our polls. So if you know somebody from Evansville and they want to come to Stark County and work on Election Day, they're welcome to do so now.
Bernadette, I have one question before you go any further.
Yes,
As far as the training for the poll workers,
yes.
I've got all my workers, but one wants to know about training on Saturday on the weekend. Didn't you say one day would be available on Saturday if you had to?
If I absolutely have to, yes, but this is specified training now. We're breaking it up. So if at all possible, they have 2 days to choose from, I would really appreciate it if they could make it to one of those 2 days.
Well, is one in an evening by any chance then?
They're both in the evenings.
Okay.
All of them. They're all from 5 to 7 in the evening.
Okay, this is a person that's worked before as an inspector and things like that. So is it required? Is she required? She's a clerk.
She's not an inspector, she's a clerk. That is up to the election board. I'm only one of the 3, so we will have to talk about that more this afternoon
Well, what I'm saying is she's experienced. She's worked the polls before.
Yes, but she won't be working a poll like what we're getting ready.
No,
to
I know.
do.
I know.
That's
Exactly.
the thing. That's the whole thing. If it was a normal election, it might be excusable, but this is going to be way different than any of us have ever experienced before. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the board is going to say no, that every worker is required for the training.
Okay. Well, she asked me if because she babysits for her daughter during the day, and so I don't know. She asked if you would do one on the weekend. I thought you had said you were going to do one on the weekend.
I don't have it scheduled because this is specialized training and we gave them 2 days to choose from to attend. So if she absolutely cannot make it, then she can contact me and I will take it to the board and see what we can do.
Okay, and eventually, can you give me the days of the training again?
Sure. For inspectors, it's Tuesday, May 19th from 5 to 7. Do you want me to just email you this again, Jeff?
Well, let me see. I may have it right here in my notes. Yeah, go ahead and email that to me then.
Okay, I will do that instead of reading through it. I will also email, so since we know that we are having an election on June 2nd, we are going with the 7 combined precincts. They will be precinct based. It's not open like it will be in November. The list, I don't have. Of course, I don't have. So we went over the 7 places will be Coons Lake Property Owners Building, the Hamlet Fire Department, Washington Township, Knox Community Center, Bass Lake, North Judson, and Railroad Township. I have came up with the idea of maybe sending postcards to every registered voter to let them know what or where to vote, since this is going to be precinct based. This is something that the board is just hearing as well. This is just something I came up really quickly before I left yesterday afternoon. To get 15,000 of these is less than $500 on Vistaprint. I haven't called my local printer yet to see how much they could do them for. I'm also need to go to the post office to talk to them to see if it would be cheaper to send out postcards to every eligible voter, or if it would be better just to send out a mass mailing to every address in Stark County. Because a postcard, of course, is 35 cents times 15,000. You know, that gets a little pricey. It's more for postage than it is to have the cards printed. But we need to do everything possible to let the voter know where they're going to vote at. We're going to be putting signs up on the places that are not being used, to let them know where to go to vote if they do go there. We still, you know, we can do everything we can do, but the voter themselves is still responsible for knowing what they need to do. We can't take away all their responsibility. So, but this is an idea. You know, I guess it depends on the overall cost of everything, but it is an idea. What do you county chairs, what do you think about the mailer? What do you expect from the board as of in letting the public know where they need to vote at?
Bernadette, I was just going to kind of add in there, you know, as a mass mailing, because a lot of people, you know, as I've been in the post office a couple of times, when people send mass mailers, whether it's campaign information, it all ends up in the garbage. You know, needless to say, are you guys looking at any other social media ways of putting it out there? Has WKVI been receptive into, you know, maybe running or paying for an ad on there versus to see what they'll release publicly for free? Any of those options been put out there?
Well, all my press releases have always said to watch WKVI as well as the Stark County Leader. I can keep putting out press releases to everybody, and they will keep reviewing and replaying. I think with this being the elections, I think our local newspaper as well as our radio station will be more than happy to help us get the word out.
I think you just not have to do a mailer in addition to that, though, if you can, if it's not too cost prohibitive. And then you always advertise in that free paper too, don't you?
The market.
Yeah, don't you do that also usually?
Well, it's not, the market isn't considered a legal newspaper. So if we do legal ads, it has to go through the Leader. I don't know if the market would put out something for us free of charge. I know most of their stuff is everything that I've ever sent to the market, I've had to pay for. So, but I would not be opposed of putting an ad in the market and the Walkerton Shopper for the people on the northeast of the county to help with the word. I would much rather do that stuff than the mailing. I know I've kind of talked this whole time, and I want to take a step back and let my board do some of the talking too. So let's listen to what Marcia and Colleen have their input.
I know I've been getting mailers from different political candidates, as well as something that I get from Purdue to do something. that I've already done 15 times, and I just recycle it all. So you're looking at a mailer, like if it's a postcard, 500 for the printing, a minimum of 3,500 for postage. If you're sending to 15,000, so it's $4,000 plus any ads that you do that you have to pay for. You know,
Even if we take out the absentee ballot people that we have got applications for our ballots back, that's still not going to change the number significantly enough to,
And here's the other thing, it's like in my household, if you send a mailer to every registered voter, you're going to be sending 7 to my house, just to my physical address.
Well, I'm sure there's-
4.
Yes.
I'm sure that there's a way we could do it by households.
And also, I know personally from sending out, last year, just in the city of Knox, I sent out 750 postcards. I got 200 of them back.
Mhm.
So-
Wrong addresses, or they don't live there.
They don't live there, wrong address.
For 15,000 mailings for postcards, it's $4,900.
Yeah.
So that's $5,000 just on postage for a postcard mailer.
I think you would be better spent to take out, even paying in the market, even front page, a large half page ad with voting precincts have changed for this election. This is where you will be voting. If you are in this precinct, you will go. I personally think that would be, and in the Leader and in the Walkerton Shopper, maybe not the front page on the Leader and the Walkerton, maybe the Walkerton Shopper. But if you're going to spend $4,900 on postage, I think that it would be better spent.
I think we can cut that by a fifth and still have front page ads
Mhm.
for several weeks.
Yes. And I think if you run them multiple weeks, I think
Right.
it will, you'll hit more voters than you will sending out a postcard, because they're just going to throw it away.
If it's a postcard, I
I do.
don't
do.
look at
They
it.
come right in the house into the garbage.
Well, but
Mhm.
yeah, I don't look at mine, but I'm only one person too, so.
And the other thing too is that both parties have precinct committee people, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if they can be enlisted to help get the word out as to where your precinct would vote.
They both also have Facebook pages,
Right.
and we have a
Both parties.
Facebook page that we can,
And the candidates could help in that too, for that matter,
Yes. So am I gathering the census that we're going to scrap the mailer idea?
I think you should. I think the other thing we ought to look at is the only other question I had in that is I'm going to use, let's say somebody shows up at Coons Lake thinking they're supposed to vote in Hamlet. What's the recourse if somebody if we did have lines that day, if somebody stands in line to realize, hey, I'm supposed to vote in Hamlet, but I'm here at Coons Lake, are they going to be doing provisional ballots at Coons Lake, or are you going to you sending them away, or how are we doing that?
Well, it depends. We have some state laws that have to be we have to go by with that as well. In my mind, I see us using some of our judges more like greeters to ask where do you live? Do you know what precinct you're in? That way, as soon as they walked in the door, they're asked what precinct that they are in. And then if they're not one of the precincts that are voting there, then they can, instead of waiting in line or even going up to the clerk, they can, nope, this is where you're supposed to vote. You're not supposed to vote here.
I also think it wouldn't hurt to get even the hardback poster boards and put at the end of the chute. If you normally vote at, we'll just go with Oregon. If you normally vote at Oregon 2 or property owners and the Conservancy, you vote here. If not, if you vote at Oregon 1, you're voting in Hamlet. If you something like that. I think, and if you put that at the end of the chute,
Right.
if there is a line, they're not waiting until they get into the building to know that they're in the wrong place.
Right.
I think there's a way we could do signs at the end of it.
I think that's a wonderful idea. I think that, maybe somebody like Otis could probably get us something together really quick on that.
Right, I mean, there, I just know when we did the fundraiser, they did those posters for what, $8 a piece?
Mm-hmm.
I think for us, for our fundraiser, for the Republican Party. So if we just had vote here, if you are in these precincts, so they can look and say, oh, or I'm not here, so I have to go somewhere else to vote.
I think that would be, and that way they're not standing in line,
Right.
waiting to get into the building. They
Yeah.
can see it and it's right there. And that's my,
Right,
I don't foresee any lines in June. I hope I am correct, but I think that I think most people are going to early vote. I think we're gonna be busier the week before on early voting than we are at the polls on election day on June 2nd. That's my true thoughts. And because of that, I'm asking each chair if they would supply me with whether it be the proxy for the person that is working the absentee board. But if we are as busy as what I think we are, I would like for the proxy or the alternate person to come in at least a few hours a day to give the two workers a break, because we can't break now for lunch anymore. So they're working from 8 to 4. And if we're as busy as I think we are, I would like the ladies to have a little bit of a break.
are we keeping our hours at 8 to 4 since they've cut it down? Or are you
Do you
gonna
wanna-
extend it for an hour or two? I mean, if you,
well, if you're only voting,
for those,
week.
yes,
yeah, I would say at least,
I would extend it at least a couple hours.
Do you want to go 8 to 6?
we could do 8 to 6.
I think to give people enough time, you know,
To get, if people are back to work.
yes,
And by that time, hopefully they will be, that would give them time to work and sure they get here. to
That's,
vote.
if we do 8 to 6, that would be 10 hours of voting. That way we could work each shift 4 out or 5 hours and then have them switch on and off. And that wouldn't be near as bad. I would much rather do that than
Right.
have people up working, serving people for a straight 8 hours.
Right,
yeah.
that would
So,
Because I think you're gonna get most of them in your early voting. I think we're
Right.
going to get slammed
Mhm.
with early voting.
that's, most clerks do think that their early voting is going to outweigh election day voting. So,
We actually should probably see if there's a way that we don't need to have a demo machine for that week and set up a third machine.
okay.
I was going to ask that if, because the early voting has been cut short,
Mhm.
would we be able to have early,
We could use
more
our,
machines for early voting?
we
than
could
normally
use
would
our
have?
demo machine as a third machine upstairs.
And I think we may need that. Just knowing how they voted in 2016 and 2018, I think that's going to definitely be.
Okay. Do you think those are enough hours, Jeff and Dave, for extending it instead of voting just 8 to 4, since we're only doing it for a week, extending the hours from 8 to 6 p.m., 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.?
You know, it's hard for me to, it's hard, I mean, since we're going into kind of uncharted waters, you know? So it's kind of hard for me to say, but I hope so. I
Well-
know is that set by the state as far as what days we can early vote?
Yes, days,
According
yes.
to this email. So
Yes.
I would think so. Hopefully, I would think so. I think there's going to be a lot of voting by mail, obviously, as well as early voting.
Yes,
How many absentee ballots have?
I've lost count.
Oh, okay.
As of Monday, it was 119 ballots that had gone out.
Okay,
That's just ballots.
That's just ballots, not applications.
okay.
And we.
My
have
only question,
60
my
ballots.
only question in that is if you guys extend the hours, I would hate to, I'd hate to see it open and it's the people just sitting there not able, nobody coming through to vote because everybody's going to vote in the mail and go through all that, and make somebody's day that long. That would be my only, I don't even want to call it an objection, just a concern.
We've done that. Though.
I think the means kind of outweigh that concern, at least my feelings is, because I would much rather have somebody board for, a few hours for a week other than not being able to supply the public with the need.
I mean, it's only what, 4 days?
I agree. You're right. It's really only 2 extra hours every day, so it's not that big of a deal.
Extra
Yeah.
hours. Plus, what would our hours be on Saturday then?
I actually put it on the list as 8 to 4 since
On
we're
Saturday?
on Saturday, trying to keep it consistent. We can keep the hours on Saturday 8 to 6. Do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That would be 5 days from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
And then they can only vote until noon
On
by
Monday.
law on Monday.
Monday, yes,
So that would be what, 4 hours?
4 hours.
Well, I guess for purposes of just information, I would prefer to keep the times the same,
Consistent.
consistent with, with the voting time. If we're doing 8 to 6, all 5 days should be 8 to 6. And then Monday is set by state statute.
Yes.
So that would be my,
And if we're bored on Saturday evening, afternoon, evening, so be it. But I would much rather to give the public an opportunity other than take the opportunity away.
I think,
especially since we're losing 23 days.
Yes.
yes. And I think people will feel safer coming here to vote than they will go to a precinct.
Yes.
Yes.
I really do. I think that they're going to feel safer here.
So if I make that motion that we are going to do early voting from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Tuesday,
The 26th.
May 26th through Saturday, May 30th, from the hours of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's my motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we will keep Monday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. because that's what statute says that it needs to be. Okay. So with that, and since we cannot close, I guess we'll be running shifts now for the early voter workers.
So will you need 2 sets of workers then?
Yes, I
for
will
5
need
guys?
2 sets of workers instead of just one.
So then the county chairs have to
They
find
can,
2
yep,
additional people.
yep. My suggestion to the chairs is to talk to the people that you have working now and have them talk to their proxies. I think the proxies would be maybe. Colleen's giving me a funny look. That's why I'm hesitating, guys.
No,
I,
it's-
I have a proxy turned in already, I believe. Jim Henry out,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
But that's
I
gonna
think
be-
I think she's wondering if Jim would want to work that many hours for 5 days straight in a row. I think that's what that look is for.
It is. It is. After speaking with him,
They would
he-
only be working 5 hours at a time.
he's nervous about being around.
Jim,
Yes, he's 90 years old.
Jen, Henrietta?
Yes.
Oh,
So let me ask this question. So if we only have 2 proxies, how many can we add? We can add, if as long as the parties, I would say, would be
It's up to
equal, would
you.
be fair.
It's up to you, Dave. If you want to put somebody in here to work, if it's somebody different to work all 5 days, you can do that. So it's basically up to you how you want to do it.
Or talk to the people that they're working with. who are
Yeah,
working and
talk
see
to
what
the
they want.
people that is already
Kate may say,
working.
"I'll work."
If they want to work all 10 hours for the 5 days, then I guess so be it. But they need to realize that if it's busy, they may not get a lunch break. They may not get a dinner break. They may be working on their feet from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
would it be okay? It's allowable, I guess, is what you said. If, let's say, on a Tuesday, that Tuesday when we start this, if we had two people that worked and broke it down to 2 4-hour shifts or something like that, right?
2 5-hour shifts, yes, you could do that.
And then possibly even have them, can they legally, let's hypothetically say lunchtime's busy, or lunchtime is busy, and you can add that extra person in there, couldn't you, and have 2 of them working, right, or no?
We have to have both parties.
Both parties would have to have 2
All-
people working.
at the
It's
same
got to stay even kiltered all the way across.
Okay.
So if
We could have 4 people here.
we
but
could have 4 people here working, but it couldn't be 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat, or 2 Democrats and 1 Republican. It would have to be always 2 and 2. So
Okay.
We could do that. I mean, that's.
I don't have an issue with that either. I just, to me, it would be just, you're asking a lot of people to, some people that they're retired, they don't want to work, or older ones, or to want to work that long. So I would think for me, it would be, let's get a list of people together that, maybe we can get slots together and just schedule it that way for at least to get it started. We could send people home, I would assume, right? After, like, let's say Jeff and I decided we have each 2 on that Tuesday in the morning, and it's a bust. We could send somebody home, couldn't we? As long as 1 Republican and 1 Democrat left, right?
yes, but my suggestion is just to have the normal 2 people working and just split it into 2 shifts. And unless the one person is really adamant about, nope, I want to do this, I'll work the 10 hours, and then so be it.
Okay.
But I don't see, the room is small enough that if we get too many people in there, it's a little more hassle than just having the 2 people with I think that's what you're gonna have Kate tell you, Dave, because I think Kate will work the 10 hours and not care about the break. She'll grab a bite when she can here and there. But I don't see her wanting to give up her spot. I think she will work the full 10 hours straight through.
But you don't think Shirley would want to do that then?
She may.
Colleen just said she may. I don't know. The only reason why I have my doubts about Shirley is because of her diabetes, and
Yeah. Uh-huh.
that's why I would like. That's why I brought up the shift, working in 2 different shifts. That way that I know she gets her food and like she needs to, and that
Yeah.
it doesn't cause health issues. It's
Yeah.
not because I don't think she wouldn't do it. If her health was, she didn't have her diabetes, I know she would do it. But I don't want her to put her health at risk to work, I guess. is
Okay.
my big
But I
thing.
would
Yeah,
talk-
I know that's been an issue before. So, okay, I'll look into it. I'll see what I can do. And I don't think there's a problem with, I can't remember Mrs. Yankowskis's first name. Is it Gail?
Kate.
Kate, I'm not even close. Okay, yeah, and then if she wants to work all day and Shirley doesn't, at least I'll make sure that there's 1 person there at all times.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. But you don't think Mr. Henry would want to come in each day, and I understand that too, because I originally had him as part of the roving board also, and he told me he didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
I had him as a proxy for the roving board.
Since he is a proxy for Shirley, I would talk to him first before you would just
Yeah.
jump and go and talk to anybody else, but I'm sure you already know that. I'm just making sure that we're staying above board here, I guess.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Is there anything else we need to talk about that? Does anybody have any other
Well,
questions?
my only question would be, is both Kate and Shirley have proxies.
Mhm.
So if you are going to, you had mentioned possibly using the proxies if they didn't want it. So then do the proxies have to have proxies?
I would, well,
I think you would need people as a backup.
I would
Yeah,
have
okay.
people as a backup, yes.
Okay.
That way if, somebody wakes up one morning and is running a fever and, if you have a
Well,
fever,
that's
you
what I
gotta
was-
stay home right now.
Right, that's what I was.
That way
thinking.
we have, yeah.
I guess my other thing would be, and like I said, we don't know what's going to be going on beginning on the 26th. Would it be advisable, and I don't know if we can do this, this is more of a legal question, to take people's temperatures?
For voting, I don't think we can do that.
I don't know because
If they were coming in the courthouse for any other purposes, I think we can. But for voting, I don't think we can do that.
well, I didn't know, that's why I was
I don't know
asking.
that question.
I'm just trying to think of all the safety, mechanisms, I guess, that we
Mhm.
could have.
I'm thinking that from what I'm gathering, and the Secretary of State's supposed to be supplying us with all this PPE. And if she does so, if somebody has a cough or not feeling well, we can offer them, here's a mask, please wear, here's some gloves, please put these gloves on. I think we can do that, but if they're running a temperature, telling them, no, you can't come in and vote, I don't think we can do that.
I'm just asking more for a legal standpoint.
yeah.
Because I know if I have something scheduled somewhere, say therapy at a hospital, if I have temperature, they're not letting me go.
Mhm.
So, I mean, and that's a scheduled appointment, a doctor's order, so to speak, but just something that I happen to think of, and talking maybe with the county health nurse or whatever.
Another thing is we would have to hire somebody to do it because security's not gonna,
Right.
Do the
take
temperature.
everybody's temperature and we'd
No, I
have
would
to.
think you would have to have somebody qualified to, not that we can't take a temperature, but it would be more,
Mhm.
I guess, reputable if you had a nurse that was doing it.
Well, I know our county health nurse won't stand here for 5 days and just take everybody's temperature.
No, I know, I'm thinking
So-
of maybe retired nurses or
Yeah,
something like that.
We would have, yeah, and it would have to come out of our budget because I know the county wouldn't pay
Okay.
for us to do something like that. It would have to
Okay.
come out of the election budget also, so.
Okay.
But I can send a email to the state election board and the Secretary of State to see if that is something, that we would be able to even do if it's, if they're saying that, no, you can't impinge on somebody's voting rights by, if they can't have a temperature, they can't come in. I don't, now that I'm saying that out loud, I don't even know if I would be willing to go that far.
Okay, it was just a thought that I had in trying to make things as safe, talking about the fear of people
Mhm.
coming to vote or people working, whatever. So I guess I'm looking for a way to somehow make people feel a little bit safer about coming out to vote, if that's something we could do.
I would much rather hand somebody some gloves and a mask and ask them to put it on, other than saying, no, you have a 2-degree fever, you can't come in and vote. I don't want to do that.
Okay, that's fine.
I have one question before I don't know if we're about ready to end the meeting. I did see, I thought, that they extended the amount of time that you have to actually count all the absentee ballots, because you expect quite a few absentee ballots and you've got all these things going. So can you tell me how soon that has to be done?
I do not believe that the absentee ballots have to be counted completely until Friday after the election.
Okay.
But I don't see a reason why we can't have ours done on election day. We should be able to have ours
Well,
done.
yeah, ideally, I just wanted to know, like I could tell people, okay, we'll have a final count by Friday.
Yes, the absentee ballots, I believe Friday is the deadline to have all absentee, because it's usually Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
No, actually, it's usually election night. You have to.
Oh.
The
Once
absentee.
you start counting, you have to continue counting until you're finished counting. they've made it so that you can recess and tell them what day you will be back, because that is an open door meeting. And so they've made it so that you can recess and say, we'll be back tomorrow at this time.
And it has to be completed by the Friday after election.
Well, yeah, that may be the new one, but I know that the provisionals, if you have provisionals, those have to be done 10 days after the election, and then the following Monday is when we have to certify the election.
Mhm.
So you usually have about 14 days to 13 days to certify.
Certify. Okay, so the county chairs, you got a list of how many workers that we need for election day, correct?
Correct.
And I will send you the order. I will send you the new in-person absentee voting hours. And I will send the training schedule again as well, for the inspectors, the clerks, and the judges.
Well, it was originally scheduled.
Did you guys have any questions about the election division dispatch paper that Brad and Angie sent out that I forwarded to you all? Did you have any questions about that?
No.
Okay. Just looking through the letter from we already did that. Just so everybody's on the same page, the all absentee ballots, even the ones that we got up to or before December, the ones that we got from December 2nd of 19 on is eligible. And I want to ask Colleen, did we get any absentee requests or applications in between the time frame that they were being denied for any reason? Or do we have any that were denied?
We have
No.
none that were rejected.
Okay. So we're good there. We don't even have to worry about that. And, okay, county chairs, what are you expecting of the election board for this new improvised, I don't want to say improved election, but I just want us all to work together. I want us all to stay on the same page, so there's no miscommunications, and together we can get through this unscarred, hopefully. It's going to be way different than we've ever experienced before, but I truly believe that working together we can get through it just fine.
I think the one positive, we have shortened in-person working hours, and that maybe we don't really need 28 days of early voting. I know it's by state statute, but I'm just saying I would hope the state election board would look at that. If we can get everybody to do what they need to do in a short time, why couldn't we do that
Every election.
going forward?
I agree.
Less time for people to be exposed to whatever. So,
Nothing more from the chairs.
Does either chair have anything? Any questions, concerns, comments?
I don't have any at this time. I think you guys have, the way everybody seems to be coming together on this, and I couldn't be even more prouder. We're all working together to make this happen. So seems like all differences are aside and everything's going to move forward. This is going to be a good election.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, I think that, I'll be back in touch with you, Bernadette, and I think we're all on the same page here.
Perfect. That's what we need.
okay. Any other comments for the good of the meeting?
Programming and public test. We have to
Oh,
set
the
those.
public test, yes. Colleen, I'm writing on it. The public test for the, did you have already in mind?
Well, we have to have it in the paper by next Wednesday. We have to send that thing out. I thought we were gonna wait till the last minute. It has to be
Right.
done May 2nd,
Mhm.
so,
So we hold the public test on May 2nd?
yes, we can do it.
What time? 10 a.m.?
10 a.m.
Saturday?
Is it a Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
then let's do it the first. Let's do it the first.
You don't want to come in Saturday for a
Nope.
public test?
I got enough to do on Saturdays.
Yes, okay,
Okay,
so
so
May
first.
1st.
May 1st at 10 a.m.
Okay. The public test for the equipment will be on May 1st at 10 a.m.
Okay, and then, do we have the sample ballot already?
Yes.
The sample ballot has been done, yes, because the ballots have been going out in the mail
Well,
already.
that's, yeah, that's what I started thinking about that, because I had written down that a sample ballot would be available on a certain date, and then I'm thinking, well, there's already people voting.
Yes.
So, okay. Could you either email me or send me a copy of that too, some way or not?
It's like 110 pages long.
Oh, the sample ballot is?
Yes.
Yeah, because each precinct could possibly have a different ballot. So each
Wow.
precinct has their own ballot.
Okay. The one thing that I kind of worry about with all these precincts voting together is that I want to make sure that somebody goes in, like to the community center or to the fire department, and make sure that they kind of scope it out about where the machines are going to have to sit, where the tables are going to have to be. If there's people waiting, to make sure that there's the distance between each person, and that kind of flow type of thing. I hope that we kind of do something about that before election day.
Okay.
It's just a concern that I have.
If nothing else, the election board is the one that has to deliver the election equipment now. So if nothing else, the night before, when we are delivering equipment, we can tend to all those things, but if history is repeating itself, it's up to the inspectors to set up the rooms. That's going to be part of the inspector's training. Another reason why we broke up the training sessions and had them individualized, because the clerks don't need to know, be taught what the inspectors need to do to set up their room. So that will be included in their training, but the inspectors have been the ones that have has in the past set up the room. But the election board will, you can be reassured, Jeff, that we will do everything that we can to make sure that all those concerns that you have are met.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So now that we have the public test set, when are we going to program? Because the machines have to be programmed before we can do the public test.
Yeah. I will send an email to Microvote when I leave here to see if they're going to walk people through or if they're going to send out programmers.
Okay.
Last I knew, they were not sending out anybody to program. We would be up to us to program our own machines. And I myself would actually prefer that, to program our own, not only for cost saving, but it would give me a little more experience, I guess. From my seats class and Microvote, it's quite easy. According to the programmer that was displaying it, and I know we talked about it before, and as long as IT is with us, it shouldn't be an issue. And I have a Microvote on the phone walking us through, and IT here, our IT department,
Okay.
with us. I really don't see an issue with us programming our own machines, but it's not something that I'm willing to do alone by myself in a room. No, the board will be expected to do
Well, I'm saving $65 a machine.
Yes, that's, yes.
Do we have a date for that?
She's gonna email.
I'm going to email to see what Microvote, because if they'll have to schedule me a time on the phone anyway, so.
I mean, they don't have to
yeah.
walk you through each individual machine, just. one.
Probably not, no.
Just one.
I would well, I'd
Or
probably
two.
keep them on the phone with me while we went from like one precinct to another precinct throughout like a whole round.
Okay,
That way I know how to go from one precinct to the other precinct without completely shutting down and restarting again, if that makes any sense.
It does.
oh, because that's right, we have several precincts voting with one,
Yes.
Mhm.
one polling place.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
That's the other thing we have to decide is we need to decide if we're going to put all of the ballots on all of the machines. That way, if one gets really busy and we need to pull a machine.
Well, that's one thing with us doing our own machines. We can do it that way and not have to worry about paying extra to have everything on one machine. We can just do it ourselves and be good.
Do you know what I mean?
Right, I'm just, right, because we have commissioners that will be voted for in one district or,
Right. But if railroad's really not busy and they only need one machine,
and
and
the whole
Okay.
ballot is
Yeah, to
on
go.
that
Okay.
machine.
you can move it
It
to
was a little
Wayne.
longer than I
Yeah.
thought. I'm sorry.
That's
all right.
fine with me. I
Yeah.
think it would be
And if you
easier to
talk
put
to
everything
them,
on one machine.
If they're gonna let us do it, see if you can get maybe a printout of how it's done. That way we can at least have.
Ahead of time so you can read which one. Okay,
Yeah. if we're gonna go that route.
okay.
I would think it would be just put the whole ballot on one machine.
All the, yeah, the same, yes.
The same ballot on all the machines, and that way we can move them
Mhm.
around it well, rather than having to worry about not being able to do that. And you don't have to worry about that whole
Wrong machine going to the wrong.
route place, yeah, they're all the same.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's all.
Okay, that's it.
that's it.
That's it.
All right, motion to move to recess until we meet again.
I make the motion to go to recess.
Oh, a second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, if any of the county chairs ever have questions, my phone's always open. Please feel free to reach out to me, no matter how big or minor the question is. And I think the entire board kind of feels the same way. So if you guys ever have anything, just let us know, please.
Okay, thank you, Bernadette. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys later. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Shelby.
Hi, guys.
I didn't know Shelby was there.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, sorry I was a bit late, but I'll go ahead and watch the meeting from the beginning and I'll let you know if I have any questions.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.